won't do that, will it? February 25, 1206, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Hope I'm not interrupting anything, pals. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You got a lot of nerve, pal. Make a detective run all around while on duty. Stop it off, you come here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I think Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, it's the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence will be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. Chief Prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. Message? She said, if you're planning to take him on, you're gonna need this book. Him? I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. Evidence law securely slipped into pocket. From Musky explains the 2 rules of evidence law. Is that a chicken on the cover? Chick. Don't look like the book will do you any good now, though. All that's left now is the Chief Prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, Detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth, real trial today hasn't begun yet. What else is there left to do? Credibility's been all but ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. And Musky found out you unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? You've got to be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. And that means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. February 25, 1252, District Court, Courtroom number 9. Court will now reconvene for the trial of Ms. Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes, Your Honor. The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... Normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness, but, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain. I think I may have manipulated the witnesses. I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and, very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? But there's no precedence for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement. A very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well, the defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. But it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright, you do realize this is your last chance. Call the wrong witness. This trial is good as over. The defense calls. The time's finally come to bring out the real murderer, Damon Gant. Really sure. Kind of. Bark bark.
Take that!
Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Oh yeah, the murderer in this case. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. All right, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation... So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Lana's sister murdered that prosecutor? Directly leading to her own installation as prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There are still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. You are aware, of course, that a police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Are you threatening the defense? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. SL9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him He was lying on the floor unconscious. And Emma sent Neil flying. It seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up, too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lana Skye, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Well, the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scenes. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and that serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he hit his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls. Lana and Emma. Lana was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. How can you know that? Because of the victim's body, it had already been moved. So that means you found the body near Lana's desk. That's right. I think you said earlier it was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway, as you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office? That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lana must have felt, but moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable, no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you'd be better off staring at the court record. Worthy, always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lana did admit to forging evidence, but that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. Probably that leather cloth. Okay, so in our court record, I need to read evidence law. How about that? Rules for submitting evidence. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. So this has Emma's prints on it. Clear handprint can be seen on the leather cloth. The print belongs to Emma. I think I'll keep this information to myself. Okay, so... Right. The fact of his involvement in something is in the fact that he put that in his safe and kept it there for 2 years. Oh, because I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged a crime scene. You had nothing to do with the forgery. Okay, so this is where I'm going to try and present this. Maybe?
Objection!
Okay. If you really had nothing to do with the forgery, then how do you explain this? What's that? And what's that on it? A handprint? Chief Gant, your explanation, please. I don't know, you tell me, son. Huh? My dear Righto, don't you know the second rule of evidence law? Oh, not this again. Evidence law. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Tell me, how is that rag relevant to this trial? It appears the defense was not prepared. I guess it's too early to use this piece of evidence. Please accept my profound apologies, Chief. Would you mind giving the defense another chance? Well, okay, I'll do it just this once, but only because you asked, Udgy. Thank you. I assure you the defense is terribly sorry. Yeah, sorry I didn't nail you. Okay. So is that... Okay, so what the other evidence that I already have? Like, he hid evidence. How am I showing that? The fact that he had half the list. Like, he was... investigator. Wait, hold on. Yeah, you had... Like, you hid this evidence. And you didn't... What?
Objection!
Claim you had nothing to do with forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's that blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. Was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Chief Gant, what is the meaning of this? Oh, he is a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So you admit to it then, that you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found the evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary drops any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and the relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My, kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Evidence and forgery. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment and a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Wow, you're really flailing there with all that. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Indeed, I believe I will press charges so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. All right, Udgy. In return, though... I know, that plays right. Huh? What are these guys? Telepathic? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. I'd appreciate it if you'd stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke into a cattle ranch and tipped... Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're gonna need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Righto's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, they would prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course, but suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery... I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. Chief is talking about a possibility. So long as you can't rule that out, your remarks, however clever they may be, will only succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto. Think about it. There's no reason I'd participate in a forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police. Oh. The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is sufficient motive. Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Nah! Be careful when pointing that finger, or you might be the one being pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. You didn't do it for yourself, you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Audrey, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Okay. Nothing in it for you? Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl, Lana's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you better think again. You're right, you don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people, that's how I was raised. Yeah. You seem to relax enough on yourself, though. Ho ho ho! Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Would there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Good question. So what do I know about this? Okay. But what would have been in it for himself? Control.
Prosecute yourself.
Dabba dabba?
Prosecute yourself.
Yeah, I'm quick part. That. I don't know how it would show that, though.
You just have to point out.
What's the what?
You just have to point out the person.
Yeah, but I would be doing it to help. True, you might not help out anyone for their sake. But if it would benefit you, you might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the Chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Didn't he give us 50... Oh. Very well then. Who is this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Goodman? Help Lana?
Yeah, so Emma wouldn't get in trouble and then he'd get control of the office. He wants to control Ev.
He does. I don't know. But yeah, he did decide where everyone would end up being afterwards. He put all the people in their places afterwards.
Like, then take Gant.
Bark.
Take that!
Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky. The defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Musky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who would want to help her more than her own sister, Lana? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lana if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lana Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. But how would he profit from all of this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? What? Oh, wait. You must mean puppet, as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Admit it, Chief. You assisted Lana Sky in forging evidence. Your motive? To appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Right, oh my boy, you have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lana? For example, is Lana testifying that I've done such a thing? Lana? She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course, I'm talking about the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. You know, the actual crime we're here for. The Chief Prosecutor has been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone has been controlling her. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. What do you mean? It's threatening the prosecution as well. What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lana take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? Order. I said order. Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder, that's impossible. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? The chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Yes. Access logs. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gant is just a man. The question is he a criminal? Maybe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then, let's see what Mr. Wright's got, and it had better be good. Show us this evidence that ties Chief Gant to the murder of Detective Goodman. Access log. Yes. Hasn't been updated, but we know correctly that he was in there. No? This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There was one ID on the list we couldn't determine the owner of yesterday. 777-7777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 777-7777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. Order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was in violation of regulations. I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. Right now, this court demands an explanation from you about the use of this ID card. Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime? What about it? I'm chief of police. Whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom, what's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, you entered the room. Were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? Of course not. Why would he be? I hadn't seen him in days. You hadn't seen him in days? Chief Gant? I'm afraid you've just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Lana Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met with the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing: what transpired during that meeting. In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on the day of the crime. Proof that Goodman went to see Gant. Alright, so there's probably a few things that will do this, maybe. But, I mean... Alright, I'm suspicious of the note, but, okay. Protect the victims. No. So Bruce Goodman's on that, but we determined that was Marshall using his card. You know, shady dealings with him being there. Hold on. He had started filling out an item report, which can only be submitted to the chief of police? Maybe? I'm gonna try it anyway.
Take that!
No. Detective Goodman lost his ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. Though Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report, he would have had to give that report to the chief of police. And you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. He filed it? How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. You needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form to you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. I, the chief of police, murdered poor good man. Exactly. But wait. The chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort.
Objection!
Sorry, but that's not possible. According to the record, your card was only used once. You showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lana at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course.
Objection!
You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. Everyone's aware that Lana stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you, take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was a useless clue just taking up space. How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant used this. The blue badge. The blue badger! Let's see. Is it the screwdriver? Rubber glove. Safes. To move the body. Alright, it was moved in Edgewood's car, right? This is how we moved Detective Goodman's body. Oh, parking stop? Miles Edgeworth. You mean... The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. I think it's obvious what happened. The body was moved by that car. You mean I carried the victim's body? Precisely so. Wait, even you know, didn't plan on returning my office after the ceremony finished that day. But you did return. Tell me, why? I was asked to go, Chief Gant no less. Told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbings, I brought this back here. So you see, what you were really taking to the prosecutor's office wasn't the screwdriver, but the poor man who had been screwed. But the victim's body in your trunk. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes. Unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief? Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence from a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Ms. Lana Skye. Order! 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 What's going on here? Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It was a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. You can't. Please, say something. I believe your time's up. My time's up? Sorry, Righto, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going if we're to make it in time for the early bird special. But cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? The police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. What? That is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman, that's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented it by now. Well, You think I had Lana dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman made Miss Sky dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? Good question. Goodman. Edward's knife. Edward's knife is the murder weapon, usually in Edgeworth's toolbox. Traces of victim's blood and no prints. Okay, I'm interested in that. Because if he killed him with Edward's knife, we know that was the murder weapon. That wasn't the murder weapon, as we said. Okay. Alright, we're gonna do this just to see what it does. Well, yes. I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. Got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Oh dear. I'm not sure. Oh, there's the SL9 note. One. Muffler. No, that's not going to be used for that purpose. Beyond the shadow of a doubt. Wait a minute. Did we ever do anything with this rubber glove? Okay. Blackmail with cloth? Is that a certainty, or do we...
Well, it said it would be used later. And it was important later.
I don't know. I think it's either the murder weapon, or the blue badger, or maybe the note. But maybe I didn't have evidence yet. I don't know. Okay, so all this stuff is rehashing the past. Why did... No. Let's try this. I'm just gonna see what happens. Huh?
Other knife.
The other knife?
That's the one not Emma, Lana used. Because that was the original one. Because she took it and wrapped it up in the muffler and then re-stabbed.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, because this was gotten out of the evidence locker when it was in there with him. And that's how it ended up. Yeah, okay. Theoretically, we hope.
Take that!
So, what exactly is this evidence? It's proof. As to whether or not it's enough to demonstrate the chief's guilt, I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Oh, right. Well, what do you think, Your Honor? What I think, Mr. Wright, is I'm going to be late for lunch. I guess it wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. David Gant is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Maybe I don't. Proof that Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman and made Ms. Skye dispose of his body.
Might be.
Might be the what?
It might be the film. This the conversation.
Like, do we have any previous calls? I mean, I can't get into, like, a call log. Come to think of it, I don't have a strap on my mobile phone at all. I hate having useless things dangling off it.
Is there a button?
What?
Is there a button to open?
Yeah, you can get inside.
Oh yeah.
Hit the button. The redial button. It dials the number of the last person called. The last call was to Emma. I wonder what they spoke about. And that's all it does. So, how about...
Can you expect that? See who... Oh yeah, it's Goodman. It's from Goodman. That's
Yeah.
right.
It's for something, but what? Oh wait, hold on. Oh, this is still for the old Ace thing, probably. I mean, it might be the cloth, I don't know. Okay, so let's see. Who's the chief dad? Let it be the other one? Wait a minute. What's the... Oh. Oh. All the things I'm finding are for SL9, but I don't know what to do for this case. I mean, the screwdriver. What would he do with the screwdriver?
It was used to summon it.
Yeah. We were just talking about that was how we got here, so I don't know if that...
I'd say that's pretty good proof, considering why would he close the gate?
But that also...
And also his trunk was broken.
Well, this is about Edgeworth, though. This doesn't prove anything about Ms. Skye. So we've already asserted that, you know, how Edgeworth was involved. But what's the proof that he made Ms. Skye dispose of the body? I mean, it could be this. Let's go ahead and try it.
Yeah, you got a full bar to waste, so...
Say what?
You do have a full bar to waste.
Well, not full bar, but a little bit. Okay. Can't just let him squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor, I do have such evidence. And please hurry up and present it. Just remember, we had better proof Chief Gant murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Really not sure about that one. No. So, what exactly is this evidence? Okay. Alright. Okay. Do I have concrete proof? So, Marshall did that. Like, removing the sword, obviously, because of what's his face. Well, yeah. If we already determined that... Like, if we're already saying that Goodman was killed, the police department brought in with Edgeworth's car, and was already dead in the trunk, why is someone stabbing them with a knife in Edgeworth's toolbox? So, who'd be? And if not that, we're going to cheat. Okay. Ah, no! Okay, I didn't hit the button.
Attorney badge!
It was me the whole time! So, no! Didn't like it either.
Didn't like the knife?
You didn't like the knife. It wasn't enough. Court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, alright, let's see what it likes as proof. What could proof be? Oof.
Yeah, you had to let him slide.
Oh, so we say we don't have concrete proof yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Which is probably why it continues giving me this choice, when usually it would just, have me try again. No, of course I don't have any such proof. Yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present I have no conclusive evidence. See, Yaji? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the Chief. What? Here's a tip: never gamble what you can't afford to lose, righto. It seems that Lady Luck was on my side again today. Okay, Edgy, I'll leave the rest to you. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to a senior officer in our nation's law enforcement agency.
Objection!
Lady Luck, maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edward, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. I haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth? Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method of proof is testimony. But Chief Gant has invoked his right to refuse to testify. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling witnesses today. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth. Okay, there's only 3 of them. Lana herself? Right. Because she's the one who's talking about not being ready to talk. I don't know.
Take that!
The defendant, Ms. Lana Skye. She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task, to dispose of the victim's body, in accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Very well. The court will now take its final recess for the day. In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. Hold on. Oh? Chief Gant, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lana. He's talking to Lana. Yes, you can tell because he said her name. I don't think you need me to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. That's not suspicious. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, well, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. Now that I've done blackmailing, I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay, if there aren't any further objections, this court is now in recess. February 25, 2:04 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. Chief, he's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Aha, I'm not a detective anymore. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Ah, don't worry, I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place that top-knotted girl you used to work with. What do you mean, Maya? Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gant's done again. How is it he always gets the upper hand? See, it's not fair. He has the right to refuse to testify. Plead the fifth anyway. Bark, bark, bark sometimes. Settle down, right? Remember what the judge said? But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. Chief refuses to testify. The opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma, are you okay? Yeah. When I came to, I was in the medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I almost feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah, now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself out from deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. And that must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. You want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone else with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait here? No. I'm going with you. I want to be there when Lana tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. To be continued.